Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about decision-making process. For the last 10 weeks, we have spent a lot of time talking about management environment, management functions. We talk about the POLC, right? Planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. And actually we spent last 1 week talking about strategic management. We touched planning a little bit, but right now today I want to go to more details about the decision-making process. Decision-making is really talk about, should we go ahead with this decision, yes, or should we not go to this decision, or maybe, okay? There's a lot of models. Technically, strategic management is about decision-making. Remember the model 5? You have to formulate a strategy, then you implement strategy, and evaluate the strategy right there, and also, if the strategy does not go to as you plan, you have to evaluate strategy, okay? So what is the decision-making process then? Let's go specifically into that. And Griffin did a very good definition over here. So basically, he's saying decision-making is really choosing one alternative, probably the best alternatives among all other choices. So the 4 steps in the decision-making process. The first one, of course, you need to do a lot of environmental analysis, recognize and define the situation. Remember, we talk about the external and the internal. We talk about Sun Tzu, know your enemy, know yourself. You will win 100 battles without failure. The second one we need to do is really try to identify alternatives. Let me use one example. You came to George Fox, and I believe most of you have other schools in mind before you decide to come to George Fox. Could be Linfield, could be Oregon State, or could be Grand Canyon. Okay, you have a lot of choices. But then you try to choose the best alternatives to come here. You come to George Fox because some of you, I learned is like the 3rd generation Bruins. Some of you came because you love a sports program. Some of you like a small Christian environment. So basically, you choose the best alternative. The best is quote unquote because it might be the best decision for you, may not be the best decision for your parents, because a private school is much more expensive. And after you choose the best alternative, and then you put it into practice. In your case, you came to George Fox, and thank you for coming here. Again, this process, a lot of things involved. You try to optimize a lot of factors. Of course, we talk about the business situation, right? I could do many computer processes before in my own company, but I chose the DVD because that would generate the most money for me. But I also have to figure out, the market size, how should I treat my employees, and what kind of market share should I get in Hong Kong to become the Mr. DVD, okay? So what kind of decisions I have to make? A lot of times, life is not too difficult. Like for our management classes, right? Some of you have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. At one station is Tuesday and Thursday. So normally it's kind of like programmed, okay? That's pretty easy, okay? But a lot of times, decisions are unprogrammed, okay? And things happen, Right now, I have to teach this class in a virtual setting because last week school shut down and I have to bring my daughter back from Whitworth as well. So it's unprogrammed decision. I remember the phrase we talked about before called CUVA, C-U-V-A. We make decisions under complex, uncertain, volatile, and ambiguous situation. So a lot of things in life are not planned, but we still have to deal with it. Okay. So again, decision making is very complicated. Situations are unpredictable. Okay. We talked about the CUVA already. Okay. A lot of risks involved. Okay. So again, we need to value the situation. Sometimes you have certainty right here, uncertainty here, but business have to go on under different circumstances. Okay. If everything is certain, it's very easy. We just go as planned. But decision making under risk right now, again, I don't want to repeat this case over and over. You know, this coronavirus, people are dying, more than 4,000 people died in China, and close to 4,000 in Italy, and a few hundred to die in US. And the leaders, medical doctors, have to make decisions. Okay. Again, a lot of times we make decisions under uncertainty because nobody knows the future. Okay? A lot of times we make decisions by faith, not by sight. Like the Bible talk about, you know, we focus on Jesus. Okay? So in a rational, classical situation, you know, when we have a situation here, we try to do our best to do the SWOT analysis, try to obtain complete and perfect information. We try the best to eliminate the uncertainty. And then we try to make a logical, rational decision, and then we end up with a good decision. And this is the traditional rational decision-making process. There are 6 steps, okay? One of your assignments, okay, you try to figure out, is Alex going through this rational decision-making process? Okay, I don't want to repeat it here, but you know the process. Okay, so if there's an alternative there, and is it satisfactory? You just go ahead, yes. If it's not, try something else, okay? So rational decision-making, a lot of examples in life, okay? I bought a Toyota Corolla for my wife a few years ago, brand new car, okay? And I tried Ford, I tried GM, I tried Korean Hyundai, I tried Honda, Japanese brand, but in the end, I bought Toyota Corolla because I like the quality. I already have 2 cars before. But then because Toyota had a promotion, $2,000 off, so I bought the Toyota. So that's a very rational decision-making process, okay? But next one I want to talk about, a lot of times we make decisions not in a rational manner, but in an irrational manner. And sometimes your parents may tell you, okay, calm down, don't become too emotional, let's make a cool decision. In this process, one of the famous Nobel Prize winner, Herbert Simon, and he studied why people make irrational decisions from a behavior point of view. Okay, and this is actually so true. Griffin talked about it in his textbook. Griffin was saying some experts have estimated that US companies use rational decision-making techniques less than 20% of the time. What does that mean? That means 80% of the time they do not use rational decision-making. They are irrational, illogic. And we all have made decisions like that in life. Then why do we do that? You know, we are very smart, we are taught to make rational decisions. Why do we make irrational decisions? Illogic decisions, okay? So, Dr. Simon has a theory, and that's how actually he got the Nobel Prize, okay? So he calls this theory the administrative model, okay? And this theory can answer the questions why human beings make irrational decisions, okay? So basically, under this model, when we faced with a decision situation, managers, actually, the information they get is very incomplete. Remember, you cannot get all the information. And he came up with a phrase called bounded rationality, okay? What does that mean? Means our rationality is caged in a place. It's bounded, like a bounded warehouse, okay? But also, a lot of times, we only to do the minimal, satisfies. Okay, I'm gonna go through all those terminologies later on. So that's why we end up with decision not necessarily serve the company, the best interest. Or in your case, I'm not saying you should not come to George Fox, I'm glad you can. A lot of times, you make a decision, only think about yourself, okay? So basically, Herbert Simon talked about 6 aspects or factors which affect our decision-making process. I'm going to explain each one of them in details, okay? So, bounded rationality is talking about we do not have enough data, okay? Because we are caged in a rational environment, means not totally understand the whole situation, okay? Satisfaction means just doing the minimum, okay? You could get 90 points in my class, but you only try to get a 80. You only want a B, some students want a C. Coalitions means a lot of times decision making in a company went through committee, a few people decide, I scratch your back, you scratch my back. There's a lot of politicking going on. The next one, intuition. Remember, we make decisions based on the art of management rather than science of management, okay? Based on our previous experience, our feelings, our emotions, okay? And then the very next one, escalation of commitment. That means sometimes you are stuck in a situation, your previous manager made a bad decision and you cannot get it out. So you are stuck in a quagmire. And the very last one basically means some managers are more willing to take the risk. Some people just like to gamble everything, you know, put all the eggs in one basket. Okay. So I'm going to talk about every one of these factors in more details. Okay. Okay. Again, bounded rationality is basically we are limited, we are bounded, we are controlled by our values, our beliefs sometimes. Okay. And we just think this is the way it is. Okay. Our skills, our habits. Sometimes we think we have the best habit, and then we don't. Okay. So that's really what it means. We do not have all the data we have to make decisions. Okay. The second one, satisfaction, really means we just do the minimum. Okay. Suppose you're a sales manager and last year your company's growth was like 5%, and you say, okay, this year I'll do 8%. Okay. I don't want to do 10 or 15 because if I do 8, 10 or 15, my boss next year will give me a higher target. So you try to satisfy, okay? The third one, the coalition, as I mentioned earlier, is really talk about political action groups, you know, politicking. You form groups, informal alliance, and you try to make a decision. I don't know, any of you watch the program for Survival, is a lot of, you know, coalition there. It's kind of strategy too. But again, you make the decisions probably not necessarily the best for the whole group, okay? Intuition. A lot of us, including me, you know, I own a business for many years. I would say a lot of times I use intuition, you know, my belief about something, I feel good, and sometimes pray about it, and I believe the Lord will give me the peace. I go ahead with the decision. Okay. The next one is a little bit complicated to understand. I need to give you an example, like escalation of commitment. Okay. Let me give you one example. Okay. We have been in the war to fight terrorists in Afghanistan since 2001 for the last almost 20 years. when the terrorists attacked us, President Bush naturally should send American troops there, okay? And then later on, when President Obama became president, he said, okay, we need to bring our troops home. And then he did begin to bring the troops home. And then the Taliban began to regroup again, and then we have the same troops again to fight back. And then President Trump became president, and we were stuck there for another few years. Right now, we bring the troops coming back to US. Just had signed an agreement with Taliban, okay? So the point is like, I don't think, President Obama wanted to send US troops there if President Bush and his administration finished the job with Taliban. So basically, they are stuck in a situation they really don't want to be in it, okay? And the very last one, the sixth factor affecting the decision making is really called risk propensity. Some people are just more willing to take risks. Some people are less, okay? So what does that mean? A person who has higher risk propensity maybe just make decisions could be more detrimental or more risk for the company. Therefore, it's not a rational decision. It is an irrational decision. Okay. But also, when we make decisions, ethics play a huge role. It's very interesting. I was reading USA Today yesterday, and also New York Times today. You guys know, in this situation, in this dire situation, not enough ventilators, for the hospitals, or not enough N95 masks. But remember, the doctor have to make a decision who should get the ventilator. Okay, there's a lot of ethics involved. Okay, should a 25-year-old get the priority over somebody 55 or 75? Right? That's ethical standards. Okay, should the rich get priority or should somebody younger? Okay, so it's a lot of decision-making process. Okay, of course, in a management situation, our ethics, from individuals, from organizations, from employees, or other agents, means stakeholders, shareholders, will affect our decision. Okay. I don't want to repeat this too much because you guys already took business ethics class. Okay. Every decision making, I would say, have some kind of ethical elements in it. Okay. The next one we'll talk about is really the group decision making process. Okay. I think Alex, in the novel, he did use a lot of ways to involve others. Okay. The book talk about the group decision making. The first one is interacting group or team. The second one is Delphi groups, means inviting experts to do it. And then you have nominal groups too. Okay, let's go to each one of them. Okay. So basically, in an interacting group, some scholars call brainstorming. You have read a lot of scenarios in Alex the Goal, the novel situation. So basically, Alex talked to almost everybody, Lou, Stacy, and asked for the best ideas, even with his wife and his son, right? So basically, they try to use the wisdom of the crowd, means many people. It's brainstorming, and the many ideas, they do not really rank which idea is the most important. And that's what we do a lot. A lot of creativity comes from interacting group or from brainstorming. Okay. The second one is Delphi groups. So basically, you invite experts, okay, and a panel. They give ideas. There is a coordinator, a moderator, but the members do not even see each other. Okay, they will talk to different people from different industry. What do you think? What should we do about it? Okay, so they use a system of anonymity, means they don't want you to know each other, whose ideas come from. But then the moderator will try to integrate each ideas. Maybe say, okay, in this group, 30 people talk about this way, 20 people mention this way, and 15 or 10 the other way. Okay, and then we get those data and say, okay, so this is the way it is. Okay, but the very last one we call nominal groups. Okay, so basically the general ideas through individual contributions, okay, alternatives, and that winnow down to reach a decision. Basically, members meet face to face and they run ideas. Okay. So basically, again, you say, okay, how many people agree with idea A? You get 20, B, you get 15, and C, you get 10, and naturally, you would go with decision A. So these are the forms of group decision making. The book talks about 3 types. Okay? But remember, every decision making process has pros and cons. Okay? The advantages or the pros of group decision making, basically, you let everybody speak. In a sense, more information is available, but maybe more alternatives. And sometimes you get people involved, you feel you're part of it, and then easy for people to accept the decisions. But also could be the more open communication there is a good thing too. Okay? Overall, group decision making generates better decision. However, there also could be disadvantages. The disadvantages, like the things take a long time, take too long, okay? But also sometimes politicking happens in decision-making process. You compromise decisions, okay? But also remember, you have always been a group, some people are always dominant, okay? One person may dominate the whole group. But sometimes the things happen is like groupthink may occur, means like the whole group think the same. And that's not a good thing, right? Okay. So basically, those are the disadvantages of decision making. Okay. Yeah, I have a slide here, compare the 3 techniques of group decision making process, the pros and cons for everything. I think the PowerPoint needs to be much more clear. Okay. Yeah. But when we make decisions as a group, always try to be objective and realize there's the pros and cons. Okay. But also to avoid time wasting, try to set a deadline. Okay. But also try to tell the members, everybody has equal voice and do not let one person dominate the whole group. Okay. But then also ask individuals, evaluate all the alternatives. Okay. But also, especially those in power, do not make your own positions known too early. Listen to everybody else. But also, it's always nice to have a member to play devil's advocate. Okay. And then, very lastly, you follow up meeting and then see how the decision-making process occurred. So this is what I want to talk about, the decision-making process. It's my first try. I hope you like the video. Bye-bye.